BigCountryPreps.com. I'm Evan Wren, and this is the Countdown to Two-A-Days series. Our daily look at an area football team and the key questions we'll be answering about that team in our August 21st preseason preview here at Big Country Preps. I'm with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And tonight, Dan, we've got a new member of our coverage area to welcome, the Tolar Rattlers.
Yes, one of five new schools added to our coverage area this school year, and I'm super excited to be getting a closer look at the Tolar Rattlers this year. Obviously, they've been in a district with a lot of the teams we have covered in recent years, so we're very familiar with that program. But it's gonna be neat to be covering them, closer this year than we ever have. So I'm excited about that, and it should be a really fun season for the Rattlers this year. They are coming off a remarkable season at the Class 2A Division I level, went 14-2 and advanced all the way to the state championship game. And they've got a good group back from that team. 18 of their 31 lettermen do return, including 7 starters on both sides of the ball. And they've got to have some reinforcements from a solid JV as well. I guess some questions, though, regarding the Tolar Rattlers, and we'll get deeper into these here in a few minutes. But you're talking about a program with a new coach. Coach Blake Mauser is taking over that program after having been on that staff previously, and they are moving from Class 2A D1 level to Class 3A D2, where they had competed before the last realignment. So should be an interesting season with some questions to answer. And like I said, we'll talk about those here in a few more minutes.
All right, before we get going on today's show, we want to remind you, YouTubers, please hit the subscribe button. Also, hit that little bell so you get notifications each and every time Big Country Preps comes up with a new video. Also, we'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors, beginning with For the Love of the Game Broadcasting and our old friend Terry Slavens, owner of KLAX 93.5 FM out of Breckenridge, 97.7 FM KATX out of Eastland, Classic Country AM 1330 out of Graham, 94.7 FM KWKQ out of Graham, KROO 1430 AM out of Breck, and KWBY 98.5 FM out of Ranger. That is For the Love of the Game Broadcasting. Also, Rob Durham, sales consultant at Bear Chevrolet Buick Cadillac up in Breckenridge. If you're in the market for a vehicle, give Rob a shot at 254-559-2266. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. That is Rob Durham up at Bear Chevrolet Buick Cadillac in Breckenridge.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Let's talk about the Tolar Rattlers and some of the biggest questions facing this team in 2024. I think the first is at a really important position. Obviously, the quarterback position. They lost a player in Isaac Blessing, who was one of the top signal callers in all of the state last year. That's a significant loss. And the big question I have is kind of what is the post Blessing era going to look like at the quarterback position? They've got a couple of senior candidates that will be competing for that job in Grant Shirley and Ty Culberson, a couple of kids who I think they're excited about seeing that battle play out. But that is obviously big shoes to fill just with what Blessing did for them last year. I mean, a kid that, like I said, was literally one of the top quarterbacks in the state at the Class 2A level. So that's going to be interesting to me. I think it's going to be neat to see kind of what their offense looks like with the new quarterback, and really I think that whole competition is going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see who comes out on top of that and kind of what kind of production they can expect from that position.
All right, my question for Tolar is will they keep that running game going the way we were accustomed to seeing it? They have a nice, it's a big offensive line, not huge, but big and athletic. And then they have Peyton Brown back, a 230-pound running back who is basically a stud. Missed a lot of last season with an injury. He's back this year. And while you're looking for a new quarterback, it's nice to get that running game going. And if they can do that, break in a new quarterback, who knows how far they can go.
Yeah, they got a couple of good backs back. You mentioned Peyton Brown. Kelvin Murray's back after rushing for over 600 yards as well. So two productive backs that I'm sure will play a large role in helping out whoever it is that takes over that quarterback position. Last question I have is just kind of about how how are they going to handle all of the transition we talked about at the top of the video. I mean, this is a team that does have a new coach with Coach Mauser taking over the program. They are moving back up to the Class 3A D2 level, so a new district with some new opponents, and then they've got some spots to fill with 4 starters they'll need to find this year on both sides of the football. So I'm just eager to see kind of how everything comes together this season. I expect this to be another successful season for Tolar. I'm just kind of interested to see if Coach Mauser can continue what they've been doing in recent years, which is putting a really strong product on the field, and I would expect that to continue. But anytime you have a new coach, there is kind of a transition period. Anytime you have, some new players in key positions, there's a transition period. So I'm just kind of eager to see how that all plays out and how the whole picture comes together for this Toller team. Because if it comes together the way I think it's capable of doing so, I think this could be another really fun, really successful season for Toller.
All right, and with that, let's take a quick look at Tolar's schedule for 2024. The season opener will come at Peaster. That's going to be on August the 30th. Then they'll have a road date at Teague on September the 6th. The home opener will come on September the 13th against Millsap, followed by another home date with Comanche on the 20th. And their last non-district game will be at Brackenridge, and that'll be on September 27th, followed by an open date. And then they jump into district.
And they open district with a home game against Early on October 11th, followed by another home game against Dublin on the 18th. They play their first road district game October 25th at Clifton before coming back home to host Brady on the 1st of November. And then they wrap up their district schedule November 8th at Eastland with what could be a really big game. That should be a fun one.
All right, game of the year. We like to pick a game of the year for each and every team that we cover. Basically, the most important game for that team. How do you see it? I've got one or two in mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna cheat and go with two. I think that the last two games on the schedule, at home against Brady on the 1st of November and then at Eastland on the 8th. To me, I think those are going to be the two stiffest tests for them in district. Both teams, if you look at them record-wise last year, you're probably not going to be real impressed, but both return really good groups, and they're going to be in their second year under coaches who were new last year, which usually you see a big step forward in those situations. So I think both Brady and Eastland have a chance to be very competitive. And I think if I'm picking, I think Tolar is the clear favorite in this district this year, in my opinion. But I think those two games could be the most competitive on their schedule.
I think that that road date at Eastland on November the 8th will be one that's going to be that'll be a competitive football game, but Eastland will be in a position to maybe, be up there for a high seed. They'll be in the mix. So a loss at Eastland could be damaging to Tolar if that's the case.
Yeah, and I would, if I'm just guessing now on in the middle of July, I would say I think that Eastland game, Eastland Tolar is likely going to be for the district championship. So this is another one of those that has
It
a
could very
really
well be.
intriguing game right there at the end of the schedule, heading into the playoffs. I'm excited about that one.
Absolutely. And with that, it's about time to wrap up this edition of the Countdown to Two-A-Day series, the Tolar Rattlers. But we want to remind you first that August 21st is the big day here at Big Country Preps. That's the day that we release our preseason football preview. It is the most comprehensive look at Big Country football and the just around the area of the Big Country as well, and that would include Tolar. That's the most comprehensive look at that big area that you're going to find in any media source. Trust me on that. We're going to have a team preview for all the teams that we cover. We'll have a player feature for every team that we cover. We'll also have a look at six man. We'll have video. We'll have pictures. We'll have stats. We'll have predictions. We'll have opinion pieces. Lots of photos and videos. So don't miss it. It's going to be fun. Don't miss the fun. That's August 21st.
And like we said, this year, five new schools, including Tolar. The others are Mineral Wells, Graham, Glen Rose, and Miles. So we are super excited to add those five to the Big Country Preps coverage area this year. We hope y'all are excited to follow our coverage of those teams throughout the school year. In the meantime, thank you for joining us for this episode of our Countdown to Two-A-Day series. And make sure you come back tomorrow when we talk about the Breckenridge Buckaroos here at BigCountryPreps.com.